When the Amazon Fire TV Cube was first announced, it was kind of oversimplified in the headlines as basically being an Echo speaker and a Fire TV stick wrapped up in one box. And I get why, I mean, that's what it looks like, right? But it's actually a lot more advanced than that. The promise of the Fire TV Cube is that it can control your TV, in fact, your entire entertainment system, which I thought sounded really cool on paper, but it turns out, Alexa, turn on the TV.
Okay.
So as an unapologetic Roku fan, my question was, is the Fire TV Cube enough to topple the Roku Ultra off my list of favorite TV streamers? Let's find out. So let's unbox this thing. I really like the way that Amazon presents its premium products. They really waste no space, and this is a good example of that. So there's the Cube. We'll just go ahead and pull that guy out there. Looks like a bunch of cables are in this box. We'll take a look at that in a moment. A little bit of product literature. The remote, which, you know, you might be thinking, well, I thought this was all about voice commands. There's a good reason for having a remote here. And then we have a couple of Amazon batteries to power that remote. Now, before you unwrap the Cube, note there's some important instructions on the back. Basically, you want to keep this facing you within sight. You don't want to bury it deep in a cabinet, and you want to keep it about a foot away from speakers so that the audio from the speakers doesn't get in the way of the microphone. We'll go ahead and tear this plastic off now that we've heeded Amazon's instructions. We'll take a look at the top, and these should look familiar if you have ever owned an Echo speaker. We've got the plus and minus keys for volume control, the enter button, and then the mute switch. So they're keeping it mutable so that it's not listening to you when you don't want it to be. On the back, just 4 connections. You've got your power port, HDMI, there's also an IR receiver port, more on that in a second, and a micro USB port. Let's pop open the box and take a look at what we have for cords. No surprise, we have a power adapter with a reasonably long power cable there. We also have that infrared blaster cable that I mentioned before, and this is so that if you're going to control a receiver or some other device that's buried in a cabinet, you don't necessarily have to have line of sight in order to control it. And then finally, there's an Ethernet adapter here. So this is going to take up that micro USB port on the back of the Cube and provide you another micro USB port along with an Ethernet connection for the very best data throughput for your 4K and HDR content. Alexa, turn off TV. So we've established that you can turn the TV on or off with the Cube. You can also adjust volume if you want. And it's not just the TV, like we have a very elaborate home entertainment system here with an Anthem AV receiver, a Blu-ray player, we have a PlayStation and Xbox. All of that equipment can be controlled with the Cube to a certain extent. So if I say, Alexa, switch to Blu-ray, it'll turn on the TV, it'll switch the AV receiver to the correct input, and the Blu-ray will come to life, and I'll be ready to watch. Now, it won't actually press play on the Blu-ray player for me yet, but that's the kind of control that Amazon is going to slowly incorporate into the Cube over time. For me, that would have been enough, but where things really go to the next level is the way that the Cube can control your live TV experience. So whether you have a cable box, satellite receiver, or you like to use something like PS View or Hulu Live TV, the Cube can help making watch live TV a lot easier. Alexa, tune to ESPN on PlayStation Vue. Now, for now, PlayStation Vue and Hulu Live TV are the 2 live streaming services that you can use with the Cube, but there will be more coming in time. And as you can see, the TV, the entire system was off. I gave it the command. It's loading up PlayStation Vue, and in a minute, we'll be watching ESPN. And then once I'm in the PlayStation Vue app, it's very simple to switch channels. So the Cube can direct you to the network or even the channel number you want on any of these live TV streaming services or your cable or satellite box, but it also works with the name of the program. For instance, Alexa, play The Amazing World of Gumball on PlayStation Vue. Now, that particular program happens to be live right now, so we'll switch right to it here. But if it wasn't, the Cube would show me options for watching that TV show elsewhere. One of the things I've enjoyed about getting to know the Cube is that it's getting to know me as well. So for instance, if I want to watch ESPN, I just say switch to ESPN, and it knows it needs to go to PlayStation Vue in order to show that. Also, it works beyond these live TV streaming services. You might think that because it's an Amazon product that it was going to have that sort of closed Amazon ecosystem, but that is not the case. For instance, Alexa, play Ozark. If you're not familiar, Ozark is a Netflix original property, and when I direct the cube to go to it, it goes straight to it and starts playing from where I left off. This works for any number of programs on Netflix, and it's going to start working for other streaming apps as well as they get on board with the cube. Alexa, show me The Walking Dead. So far we've known what we wanted to watch and where we wanted to watch it, and so we were able to give very specific commands and get to where we wanted to go. But what if you know what you want to watch but you don't know where it is, or how much it's going to cost you, or if it's even free on one of the apps that you subscribe to? That's where Alexa's search capabilities come in really handy. So we have The Walking Dead here. Alexa, select one. Now, we know that's the TV show we want to watch, but we don't know where we can watch it. And as we see, it's available on Netflix for free. I don't have to pay for anything. Alexa, show me seasons. We know which season and episode we want to get to, so we're going to direct it to seasons. Alexa, scroll right. Alexa, pick number 7. So we'll go into season 7. That'll show us the episodes. Alexa, scroll right. And yeah, I want to get on Go Getters there. That's episode 5. Alexa, select 5. Now, granted, the process is a little bit slower than if you were to grab the remote and go through all of that stuff, but it makes it pretty easy. So how about the setup? Well, it was very, very simple. In some cases, it was maybe a little bit too simple. When we plugged this thing in, it went straight to finding out what kind of TV we had and verified that it could turn it on and off and adjust the volume. But you can actually dig down a little bit deeper and control the equipment control yourself at a deeper level. For instance, it wanted the Fire TV Cube to be plugged into the AV receiver. I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted to plug everything into my TV and have it send an audio signal to the receiver via HDMI ARC. So I had to do a little bit of trickery. We'll publish how to do that in the written review below. But basically, you go in and you individually manage all the equipment that you want to. You can add individual devices. We have Blu-ray, TV, AV receiver, Fire TV Cube are already here. You can also add other items, cable, satellite, your game consoles, generically, or there's a PlayStation, Apple TV, and Roku options here even, if you wanted to use one of those, can't imagine why. But then you can go in and make some specific suggestions. For instance, you can change the volume increment. So if you want it to increase the volume to a larger degree or a smaller degree, you get to control that. And that's smart because every TV and every AV receiver is different when you press the volume up or down button. You can also control some infrared options so that it times things out a little bit better for you if you need to. We found that it worked great for us straight out of the box. You can change your AV receiver at any time if you're prone to doing that. Not only that, but you can also specify which HDMI input what device is using and what it should switch to on the TV. So as complicated as your system may be, the Amazon Fire TV Cube makes it relatively simple to get it all set up. And once it is set up, it's super easy to use. I'm confident somebody could walk into this room and just say, Alexa, play Blu-ray, and it's going to automatically switch the system so that somebody could watch a Blu-ray. Same for a game console or pretty much anything else. So, can you just shove all of your remotes in a drawer and never touch them again? Not quite yet. The Amazon Fire TV Cube isn't quite that powerful yet. And in fact, you're going to want to keep the remote that comes with it around for stuff like entering usernames and passwords. But the good news here is that as you're learning to use the Cube is learning about how you want to use it. Amazon tells me that they're going to be analyzing how people interact with the Cube, what kind of voice commands they use, and they're going to meet their customers' needs where they're at. So in time, this thing is going to get better and better. I've already had a really great time using this product. I think it's a lot of fun, but I also think it is practical, and that's something that we don't often see in these new advanced technologies. This is useful right out of the box. So to answer the question I posed at the beginning of this review video, does this thing supplant the Roku Ultra as my favorite set-top streamer? I'm gonna have to go ahead and say yes. I think there is so much useful functionality from this thing. It does 4K and HDR, the picture is great, and Amazon's interface is getting better and better all the time. To me, that makes it a knockout product.